Welcome to week 5 of our journey through the tarot.
This week, we delve into the minor arcana and explore the overall meaning and story of the wands and cups.
You'll want to have the suits of wands and cups separated and in order from ace to king for this lesson.
Starting with wands, we'll explore the overall meaning of the suit, paying special attention to repeating patterns or motifs and what those represent.
We'll repeat this process with the suit of cups.
Grab your cards and a notebook and let's jump into the elements of fire and water.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome. It's 7:07. We're going to get started on our lesson.
And I want you to think about the next 2 sessions. We are not necessarily diving into the meaning of these cards. We're diving into the meaning of the elemental rulers of these cards. And it will help so much more when we actually do one class where we're going over just the wands and one class where we're going over just the cups. Okay. So as we do this, just remember that if you feel like you didn't get a great idea of what the card is about, you're correct. We're going over the elemental rulers of these cards because they give you so much information when you understand them. I think one of the reasons that people find tarot very hard is because there's all these blocks of symbology to learn first that make understanding the cards so much better. So we are giving you guys that tonight and next Monday. Tonight is the elements of fire and water. So we're going to just go ahead and start with the suit of wands. And I guess we'll just trade off because we didn't put our initials next to our blocks.
We did not. We've literally been working on this.
We'll just skip that. Okay, the suit of wands. The suit of wands explores the element of fire. This is going to be really important to remember because there's aspects of fire that you want to relate to the cards later on. And if you do not get notes for this, just remember that we're going to be going over these cards again later. All right. In tarot, fire provides a spark. Did I say that right? I feel like my brain is not working with my mouth.
No,
I'm going to
you're
repeat
fine,
my
yeah.
sentence. In tarot, fire provides the spark. It's a spark of ideas. It's a spark of passion. It's a spark of motivation and energy. So what we're really using interchangeably during this session is we're going to talk about fire as an energy. So each element is going to have its own word. So water later is going to be emotion. So when you hear energy, we're really talking about like how fire is an energy source and that how it works with our systems. Over to Kat.
Okay. So the fire element is our drive, our determination, our passion, our will. And these are things that are a part of everyone. Think of the fire element on a spectrum. So this is going to be a big part of how we
address it.
How we are choosing to teach you guys to help you learn this. Think of the fire element on a spectrum. Think of your own personal energy on a spectrum.
Right.
Everybody put your hands, copy Jamie.
Put your hands up.
She's
Okay. Here's our hands.
Okay.
Ready?
So this is you.
Whichever hand you want.
On a spectrum.
Base level.
Yep. So we have at our base or lowest level, we use energy to serve our egos. Our energy is at the base level, at this low end of our energy.
End of the
That's
spectrum.
The low end of the spectrum. Our energy is arrogant, it's selfish, it's self-serving, it's delusional. It's you against the world. This is where we are here.
When you have that kind of energy about you, you're at that base level of the fire energy.
Have you ever met someone who was really full of themselves and selfish? Anybody? Nod your heads if you have actually met somebody like that. I think we all have. This is base fire energy.
Right.
Okay.
Is that what I mean? All right. We're going over to our other palm. Ready? So on the opposite end of that spectrum, because there's going to be a line of words, of emotions, of types of people all throughout here. You got base level. You got your elevated fire energy. With our elevated fire energy, we're using our personal power for a cause. Okay. We're like, our personal power is going towards something that is really meaningful and usually extends way beyond ourselves. And we're trying to make the world a better place. That's what we use our energy for. So on that spectrum, base level, somebody who is very selfish. On the high end of the level, you're looking at somebody who is using their personal power to better the world. Right? I think about this as like volunteer work and humanitarianism. This is more like people who are users and abusers. That's the level of fire energy that we have there.
So down here, so we're going to give you some examples
They're funny
of people that
highs and lows
that you may have heard about in your lifetime. So we've got
on the high end,
we have the pharmacist.
A pharmacist, somebody who's using their passion and drive to help people medicate for hopefully the best reasons to get healthier. And then on the other level, the low level,
we have the drug dealer. Okay, so we got doing the same thing, right? Dispensing drugs, but they're doing it for different reasons. One's trying to help, the other one is it's all about me,
it's about them.
Trying to make money, trying to get high, doing whatever drug dealers do. Okay.
Next one
is we have the volunteer at the high end of the spectrum, and then we have the thief. Somebody who just takes what they want without regard to any. They don't care about other people. They're just like, I deserve this. So you got volunteer and thief. And then the next one,
I like this.
Go ahead. Are you gonna do the hands thing?
So on the high level of the spectrum for this next one, you have a firefighter who is in the fire element. So I thought I was very clever. Ha 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 me. The fire element of a firefighter and using that control of fire and knowing when to, they do control of fires to try to save stuff. And then on the other, at the base, a pyromaniac. So they just want to see shit burn. They don't really care who it affects. This is all about
or even an arsonist.
An arsonist.
I thought of an arsonist.
Okay, that's the proper word.
So can you all see, and you can do this with a nodding of your hand, the spectrum of the energy of fire. So first of all, we're going to reiterate when we started, it's like everybody has that fire element in them. It's this like, I'm going to either be this elevated fire energy, that energy that goes out and takes action and does things, or I'm going to be this really base level where it's just all about me.
Well, and that's why we have the spectrum, right? Because nobody's one or the other. We fall in that variation.
And
that's
maybe
what the card
sometimes we're like super altruistic, and sometimes maybe not so much, but we're not quite the arsonist or the drug dealer or the thief.
Hopefully.
Okay.
So a quick wand association that I find really important. So if you guys want to write this down, because this will be part of the homework. This is a really good thing to remember for the wand cards. When we deal with the associations for zodiac signs, we have Aries, and their statement is, I am. You see how that relates to the fire energy? I am what? Who am I? It's like, I am this. I'm standing with this energy. The Leo, I will. And it's not like I will go do this today. It's I will it to be done. I'm putting all my will and effort into it. So that's a really important part of the fire element as well. And then the Sagittarius, I aim, right? So like whatever they want, they're taking aim for it. And that's that confidence, that drive, that motivation. So those signs, statements are really significant and really do tell the story of how the fire element in the wands cards works. I feel like I'm getting my S's all over the place. And with this, we have the signs like the wands within the cards. I'm losing my place. I am so sorry. They signify that vision. So if you have aim, you already have the vision of where you're going to. So that's really important. It signifies intention. So they're willing it. They know what they want to do. They're putting that, I will have it. This is going to happen for me. I'm making this happen. It's in the world. It's mine. They believe it for themselves. And then they have the goals where it's like, I am going to do this. I'm going to be this. I'm gathering my resources to become something, the I am statement. So fire and wands, two things that can be interchangeable when you start reading, is that they look towards the future. They're always forward facing because they're about that action. And they're not really looking at the past. So it's a good thing to mix the zodiac personalities within the fire element in the wands cards.
And they're always the next action. So they're always like planning ahead too, because part of this element is also planning action for the future.
That's the aim, right?
Yeah,
You have to
exactly.
plan where you're going to shoot. But when we think about it in the spectrum, so you guys are probably going, well, wait a minute, if you're, a thief, like maybe not, or that's why we have that spectrum of energy on the low and the high side. When you keep all of that in mind, which is a lot, this is not a little subject, we're going to get into talking about the cards and you'll be able to see it within them and go, oh man, that sounds a lot like that. And here's where I can relate it. When we start making those connections is where you start to really feel confident in being able to read cards for yourself or others.
Yeah.
We're on to the
Okay.
scenes.
So the scene. So we've had the Ace of Wands up since we started, which is
Mhm.
fine because that's how we roll. So that's for you guys to really study that card. So the scenes in the suit of Wands portray how we actively engage in life on a daily basis. Remember, fire fuels action.
That is such
So-
a good thing to write down. I put it in all caps on our notes, but fire fuels action. Another great way to remember when you get a wand card, what's this card about? Forward movement.
Yes,
Fire
it's
fuels
like when you
action.
finally get your shit together and decide to like stick with your calorie limit and go to the gym and stuff. I'm speaking from personal experience here. When you finally start like snacking, stop snacking all day long and be like, I'm not going to snack. This is the drive. This is the determination.
Motivation, you
This
gotta
is the
aim,
motivation.
a
It's like
goal.
whatever happened, I woke up one day and magically all of a sudden I had the freaking drive to stop snacking and only eat twice a day. This is my personal share.
That's her
Okay.
fire element coming through for her right now.
It definitely is. And I don't have fire. I don't have much fire in my natal chart, so I really need that. Okay.
So you're gonna go right to
fire fuels action.
Yeah.
Let's look at how wands are used in the picture to portray meaning behind the card. You don't have to take notes because we're gonna actually delve into deep dive into wands, and we start in week 7. But this week is just all about the elements of and what
Fire.
those elements mean and represent.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting with the Ace of Wands.
If you look at the card, I want you to imagine what Kat's going to say. We're going to describe this in like as few of words as possible. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple.
Gifted fire.
So instead of thinking of that coming out as being a gift of a wand or like what's happening there with that wand, replace the word wand with fire or energy, your gifted energy, something like that.
This is the spark of an idea and the push from spirit to act. So I don't know if anybody else has ever looked at this card and said, what the heck is going on here? I don't even understand, because some cards have really great scenes, like when you've got the 3 of Cups and they're celebrating. It's really obvious what's happening. I feel like the aces and even the court cards are more difficult to understand. Because what does it mean? There's a hand sticking out of a cloud and there's a wand going up and there's gray and there's like this like background. I'm like, what is happening here? So what is happening? And Jamie's gonna.
Well, I want to speak to, remember, we're just doing like how the fire is represented in this. Do we think of this card as, does it look like this is a base level energy fire at work? Or are we more on that elevated side of it? And this is a personal interpretation for you. Write down, if you want to, what the card feels like to you, what it looks like to you, what you think is happening. And we can guess. I can't have the chat open, but if you all put in there, what would you think the Ace of Wands is? Is it that elevated fire or is it that base level fire element?
I mean, I can definitely see that. Just saying that and then looking at it, like it's definitely a gift because somebody's handing you something.
Yeah, it's
They're
coming in
handing
the
you
cloud.
something.
It's
Yeah.
magic.
Okay.
We're back
Page
and forth.
2?
Yeah. No, the 2. Oh, I
We're
gotta
at the top of page 2.
I gotta do my job, you guys. She meant for me to move
No,
cards.
I meant you're
Oh.
here, honey.
Why do I have 2 and 2?
Oh, I don't know why you got 2 and 2.
Love that for me. Okay.
All right, did we move to the 2? All right, on to the 2 of
On
Wands.
to the 2 of Wands while we're looking at our papers, wondering what the hell we did. So in the 2 of Wands, if we look at the picture, notice that the wand, oh, see, when I say left and right, I don't actually know which one you guys are looking at. One of the wands is fixed to the building. Okay, do you see the little bracket down there? It's holding it on the building. The other wand is securely in the guy's hand and it's elevated and it's like facing out to the world. So I have one fixed and one facing the world. That's duality, matches up with the 2. But it's like one is controlled and 1 is wanting more. It's seeking, it's facing out to the world. So this feels like it's more in the middle for me. I should have asked you guys what you thought. Is this
In
more
terms of like energy? So
Is
we're talking about spectrum of
spectrum
energy here.
Is this higher elevated energy? Is this base level energy? Obviously, that the reason we talk about the spectrum is because it can fall anywhere in between there. No card is like all good or all bad. But seeing it as you are, it's like, well, if 1 is fixed, but 1 is free, what do I come up with? And write down your thoughts on that. I put that it's in the middle of being between security and then wanting more. You go to
Okay, 3. Yep. You want to
We're
move
getting our
us
grid now.
to the
Oh,
3
shoot.
card?
Okay. Sorry.
All right. In the 3 of Wands, we have planted in the ground. So we have
Look at the base of the wands. Do you see the dirt is built up?
we have planted in the ground and standing on their own.
Mm.
This feels like elevated energy. There's in this card, what's this? Are we supposed to read this?
We don't
card?
have to read the small part.
Okay.
It's just that if you wanted to, like,
Okay, so
does
in this card, what this card says to me is like there's no turning back, and it's time to start a new journey. That's what this card says to me. It may say something different to you, but what we have here is we've got like firmly planted in the ground, and then we've got standing on their own. We've got wands standing on their own.
yeah. So it's like you're getting stabilized. You're able to stand on your own. Like, that's just, remember, keep it simple for yourself. You can get into detailed, elaborate definitions and explanations later, but watching how the wands are reacting, this fire energy is stable and standing on its own.
Okay. Next
On to
card.
4. Yes. With the 4, these wands are dressed for celebration. There's no better way to put that. They have like a hanging wreath between them.
Oh my gosh. This is definitely like a wedding or
She
something.
loves the celebration card. She's always like, yay, love, happiness.
We're having a party. We're
So-
like, something good is happening here. This is
Alright.
like really good energy, right?
Where are we at on our spectrum? Does this feel like an elevated high energy? And I don't want to use the word high because that's almost like, are we low or high in a feeling? But this is like, is this an elevated energy with purpose and for the good of others, not just yourself? Or is this low and it's like a selfish, egotistical card? The scene of it, what the wands are doing. The wands are welcoming you in their a celebration. So I would say it's elevated.
Okay. And the 5. In the 5 cards, we see the wands being used as weapons. So what is this? What does a weapon as a wand tell you? To me, this is base energy, because anytime we're like fighting and warring and all that stuff, this is our base human.
You can say emotions, even though it's not water, but like,
yeah,
it's our base energy.
It's our base human
primal survival.
Yeah, primal. Yeah,
Primal.
exactly.
Primal's
Primal is really good.
Mhm.
Primal is a very good word for that, because we, ideally we are working to get along and not fight, because what does fight within a fight, there's a winner or a loser. So
picking
we're
sides, we're division instead of unity.
Yeah. So okay. All right, number 6.
On to the 6 of wands, and the fire element represented in this. This is the staves are staves. See, I said the old word. The wands are raised in celebration. So if I have something that looks like it's a celebration, I'm 100% going to say this feels like an elevated energy. We're leaning more to this spectrum of like, okay, this is with good intentions. This is something that has a good energy about it, with, motivation and directness and like meeting your goals. So all of those things that lean towards that elevated emotion. I'm sorry, elevated energy. We're not to emotion yet.
Okay.
To the 7 of wands.
And the 7 of wands. Here we see wands being used as a defense, and now we have gone to the other end of the spectrum again, where we're having to defend ourselves and protect ourselves. And so I would totally agree that this is like at this end,
at the primal base energy level of the fire element, because of just the way that he's standing with the wand. Now I want to say staff. It's so bad. Oh, dyslexia. Okay. The 8. So this card poses a lot of questions questions for people because there is not people to represent an emotion within it or have a feeling. There's just like wands that are shooting through the air. But guess who this is? This is the archer, you guys. This is the aiming and getting what you want. It's flying towards its target. So this is being set up to like goals. So I would say this is more towards the elevated. When you have goals and when you're direct and you're pushing your energy towards something that hopefully is beneficial, because it doesn't say that, right? It doesn't say a goal that's bad or a goal that's good. I could be planning a bank robbery or I could be planning for my kids' college education. Whichever it is, there's a goal there. That's where we'll get into reading other cards beside it to understand it. But there you go, the archer card right there. On to
I think that's
Oh.
one of the more confusing cards because you're like, what's happening here? It's a bunch of sticks in the air. Like, I don't even understand this card at all. There's nothing, there's no hint of what it actually means. I don't know if anybody else has ever looked at it and gone like, huh?
right, because there's no faces, there's no recognition.
Yeah.
You're like, how do I read this? But I think of it as like flying through the air with purpose.
Well, I love that you brought the Sag guy
The
with his aim,
archer. Yeah.
because
You
that
can't forget
totally
that now.
no, and I'll never forget that. Okay, are we on 9 or 10?
Yes, it's already to 9.
9. Okay, so here again we have a wall of defense. That's what the cards, I'm sorry, that's what the wands are doing here. That's their role in this card. They're defending. So this feels like, again, one of our base energetic energies, primal energies.
The energetic energies of the energy.
The primal energies
Primal.
where everything's all about survival, and
You're trying to protect yourself. You might only be looking out for yourself, your resources. So everything is really hoarded to that, you feel like you might need to be selfish. And we're not yet talking about reasons that this is going on. It might be well justified. That's okay. We don't want to judge a card. Like I said, it's not all good or bad, but you're leaning towards that more. This is a card that is showing
some primal energy,
the primal instincts of how to survive. What are we doing?
Yep. So remember, survival is like food,
Food, shelter, sex.
Food, shelter, sex. Those are our basic primal as human beings.
Our
instincts.
drives.
Yeah, our drives.
That's what drives us.
Those things have to be satisfied first before we can elevate to higher levels of human existence and interaction. So, okay.
Right. We are moving on to the 10. And I'm going to change out the word wands, you guys. And I want you to think about not him holding 10 wands in his hands, but change that word out for 10 fires in his hands. Now, what does that conjure up as a feeling for you? If somebody was like, I have 10 fires going on right now in my hands, now where are we at on that level of reading the card? Are we trying to protect ourselves? Are we trying to figure things out? Are we overworked? Versus we're on this highly elevated path. Things are flowing to us easily. This isn't hard. So when you think about it as putting 10 fires in your hands instead of just 10 wands, you can start to see that this is leaning more towards those struggles, where you have to kind of hunker down and figure out what you got going on because stuff's getting hard.
Because nobody can handle 10
fires.
fires for very long. Okay.
We are moving on to the court cards, which is challenging. So we're using different words to describe the fire energy. It's just going to be one focused word rather than high or low, because these are representing people. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead.
No, that's okay.
These are representing people that we encounter and their personal energies about them.
And we're actually spending like a whole session on the court cards because
They're
think
confusing.
I feel like the court cards are confusing because you can't really tell. Like, I was like, what is this? What is she sitting on her throne? What's she doing? What is he doing?
Right.
So we're going to spend one whole session talking about this. But in the page of wands, what we see is held front and center.
Do you see how he's like gazing at them?
So he's holding the wand out in front of him. He's admiring it and he's getting lots of attention. It feels like focused fire energy.
Right. So if he's really concentrating on that wand, which is the representation of the fire element, this is focused fire energy. It's in front of him. He's really staring at it. We don't know what's going on because there's not cards around us to tell us yet, but we know that this is like a focus. He's very focused on that card. card on that wand.
I mean,
on
and
that fire
I mean,
energy.
and focus is a higher elevation,
Sure.
a higher elevated state of mind, if you
Goals,
will.
focus, that's
Yeah.
actually towards something. So that's it's a good way to think about it.
Okay.
Next, for the Knight, we'll get that on the screen. For the Knight of Wands, he's holding his wand out to the side like it's a weapon. You know, you would almost think that this mimics what the Knight of Swords would be doing, is like charging with it. And since this is sort of a charging card, for me, it looks like charging. And when I have that wand beside me, it's like I have purpose. I am focused in on my purpose. So he is holding it, knowing what he's coming to battle with, an argument, a meeting, whatever he's doing, but he has got purpose. So I think of this card on the spectrum of fire energy is more towards that aim and purpose of the card. So it's, we put persistence. He is continuing on with that persistence of driving towards whatever he's going towards. That was a lot of towards.
And now we have the Queen. The Queen is comfortably resting. This feels like graceful fire energy.
Right. See how she's
Does
very
it not?
relaxed with her wand.
Yeah.
It doesn't take front and center, so it's not standing upright. She's not doing anything weird with it. She's just
She's
kind of like
super chill.
She's got the sunflower in her other hand. So she's almost being able to balance multiple things. We're not going into that today, but that's something to think about, is what is the fire element showing? How is she controlling it? How is she interacting with it in a very relaxed way? So we put that it's graceful fire energy. Take that for what you will. Create your own word for how you think she's handling that fire energy.
The fire energy,
Yeah,
yes.
for sure. And over to the King. Is it me? I already forgot.
It's you.
Because I talked a lot. Okay, with the King, he is looking past the wand. So the fire element is not the thing that's necessarily controlling what he's got going on. And he's kind of got the wand in this weird position. All right. If you guys have your cards in front of you, or if you can really look at the card on the screen, notice that his wand is in this hand, but it's actually sitting over here with the left foot. Do you see how he crosses his own body to hold on to his wand, to hold on to that fire element? What I think of when I see that is he's being weird or creative or different. And so for me, it's bringing through that like ambitious, creative, what are we doing? Notice something different. I'm not going to be like the rest. That kind of energy with how he's going to handle the fire energy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm repeating words a lot. I hope that this is all coming through really clearly. I can't wait for the Q&A at the end of this. So you guys can ask
So
questions.
save your questions, because we want to know what you guys think about
Yes.
our lesson interpretation, helping you understand the energy of these cards.
I'm just going to say, for like the conclusion of it, if you didn't write anything else down, for the fire element being represented in the wands, it is about our will, it's about our motivation, and it's about our actions. So it is about actions. Moving on to our next suit.
All right.
Yep. The suit
of cups. The suit of cups explores the element of water. In tarot, water reflects our emotions. It's about relationships, ourselves, and our creativity. The element of water always deals with matters of the heart, our intuition, those little inklings that we get, and messages that we get. I found a white feather. I was like, universe, thank you.
What's that?
And what we feel within. On the spectrum, hands up. On the spectrum, we're looking at the quality of emotions in situations and relationships. That's what we're going to be looking at.
I can't wait to talk
So
about this.
I'm gonna go ahead. You're gonna take the next one. I'm gonna do the hands part, because I haven't got to do it.
Oh, okay. You know what? Now that I'm doing it, I feel like goalposts a little bit. Like I didn't see that before, but now that I'm on screen, I feel
like here's
And
where I
that's okay.
started, and here's where I'm hoping to get to.
Yeah. Or
Which is
somewhere
why I'm
along the
doing
way.
this, right?
And I love the word spectrum for that, because you don't have to be this or that. You know, with cards being, they're either upright or reversed. It's like, well, okay, but let's read the card as a whole rather than just be like, it's negative, it's positive. That's it. That's why I don't really read negative meanings in cards or reverse meanings. All right, too much information. What am I going on to? Where are we at?
Right here.
At the base level. Oh,
I'm doing
it.
hands.
Sorry. Okay.
So at the
Hands
base
down.
level,
At the base level of
Here.
of cups, of the water, of the emotions, okay, we feel scared, we feel unsafe, and we also feel victimized. Nothing, this is one of the statements you would find at that base level. Are we base level over here?
Yep.
Here's a statement you would find from this side. Nothing good ever happens to me and never will. There is no one safe in the world. Love is a fantasy from TV. This connects with everything going on with the cups at the base level and how we can feel after not having
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak. It could be it can come from so many sources.
Yeah.
That's what the other cards around it will tell you.
Yeah.
But this is where we're at with the base level.
It's where we sort of, what I read from that or interpret from that is like, this is where we've sort of given up on anything that's good. We're like, nothing good happens in the world.
Or you've never
right?
been shown anything good, so you don't have faith in anything.
Well,
There's
and-
not,
Yeah.
the world has
But
not
some
been
people,
kind.
some people though, I feel like when something bad happens, they're like, that's it, everything's ruined, blah, 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 blah. You know, they're the all or nothing people. So
When she did that, I really thought about the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland. Off with their heads, like everybody's doing.
well, I don't know if anybody else has ever felt like when stuff starts going wrong, you're like, oh, the whole world is shit. I give up. Give me a damn beer or something, right? So it's like nothing good's ever going to happen again. Hopefully that doesn't last very long. And we're like, listen, there's always hope.
Turn to your
There's
tarot
always-
and find hope.
Yeah, there's always, listen, and the other thing is, and remember the Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes we're up and sometimes we're down.
That's just how we learn.
Yeah, so that's how we roll in this earthly plane.
Yeah, in these
Earthly classroom.
meat suits that we're wearing as spirits. That's what's going on.
Exactly.
Did we read this line already?
No, you're
Okay.
next.
So elevated water energy. Oh, that's what we
Here.
did. Oh, yeah, you're the goalpost.
So
Give
we
it
got
up,
like
give it
the
up.
super low energy, nothing's ever good.
People,
Love
you're not safe.
sucks. People suck,
Yeah,
you
okay.
know. There's
We
no-
did it. We did all of them. We're
Okay.
gonna go to the good stuff now.
All right, now we got the good
The
stuff.
elevated water energy on this side is going to be all about love and feeling secure. Whatever that looks like to you. Everybody's love and security looks different, but that's what it's going to represent on that high side is feeling loved, feeling secure, feeling taken care of by the universe. The world is a wonderful place where all your dreams and wishes come true. Now we can become very jaded, if we think that way for too long, but that's where people on the higher end of that elevated emotion are generally feeling and can repeatedly pop out of bed in the morning having that feeling. We need to bottle some of that and dispense it to people having a hard 7-year. Right here, I'd take some. It's up for you now. You get to do high.
We're gonna do high lows again. I get to do the high lows
High
again.
lows associations with emotions. The water.
You
the
can
water, the
you can
cups.
do the thing.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm goalpost.
Your goalpost, yeah. Okay, so here are a few high-low associations in relationships. Rude and cruel.
Oh, we're at the low. This
Yeah.
is low.
And then kind
Boo.
and generous.
Oh.
Oh, okay. In daily life, sacred all the time. Oh, no,
What?
I'm sorry. Scared. That says sacred, isn't it? Sacred. Yeah. Okay. She meant to type scared all the time that something bad will happen. We're on the low end here.
I was just questioning how my computer doesn't think that I have a right scared, so it just put in sacred anyways. I love that for me.
I'm pretty sure that's
Scared.
sacred and not scared. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Read and read.
Either way.
And then
Scared versus
we have faith in the universe, that the universe has your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like finding the good in all your bad, shitty situations. You're like, this has to mean something. I can't just go through this bad stuff and it not mean anything. That's where we're at there.
You can also
Yeah.
make that shit happen.
And it's not like you don't
By-
feel the bad stuff.
by
You just
changing how you
decide.
think and
Yeah.
interact with people. And I have a story I could share about that, but I won't. We'll go on. Okay. Let's
Next,
see. In trying something new, am I not special or gifted?
So I didn't put a comma there. Oops. In trying something new, we're going to think about it like that. When you're trying something new, are you on this spectrum?
I'm not special or gifted.
So you give up, you don't even try.
Yeah.
Versus the high.
Everyone's unique and makes the world better.
That's right.
Our
That's like
uniqueness
art.
makes the world better.
That's like art.
So you celebrate your differences, your, that you're not like, that you are the redhead among all the brunettes, or you are the whatever, the chubby girl among all the skinny girls. You are still unique and special and make the world a better place.
Yeah. We can't all be the same.
No. How boring would that be?
Exactly.
So
There's
you
just, like,
can think
one
of
type
cups.
person.
So here's another thing. You can think of cups as a river. Too much water or emotion overflows and damages the land. Too little and everything dries up and dies.
Yeah. So that's that, it's not that having a lot of water in one situation is a great thing. This isn't versus the high and low, but what it can do if you are too emotional. If you've ever met a Pisces like me that can just cry over so many little things, as long as it's not affecting our life, I think
You're
we're
not
fine.
the crier of the three of us. It's the Cancer that's the crier. The Pisces are they're the optimists. They're the dreamers. All the Pisces I've ever known. That's who they are. But
Yeah,
the
we cry
Cancer,
in private,
but the
Mom.
Cancers are like the boo-hooey. They're emotional about everything. I don't know if there's any Cancers on
Maybe
here.
all my pain is just inside, and I cry alone in my room while I, light candles and drink beer and do tarot. That's my Pisces element.
Crying on the inside. Go where? I don't know if you
Like
guys know.
where?
Like, I don't know if you guys know the movie, The Other Woman or something with
Oh,
Cameron
yes.
Diaz
Oh,
and
yes.
Leslie Mann. She's like,
Leslie Mann is so great.
on the inside, like a where?
She's adorable.
Oh my God, it's so cute. Okay, you're gonna read quick note this section.
All right, we're gonna go on to the zodiac signs associated, and these are the things that I really do want you to write down because they're keys in understanding the water element within the cups suit. So the zodiac signs are the Cancer energy, which she was just talking crap about. I feel, and maybe that's why they like to express it, but that is their statement. I feel. I'm never letting you talk to a Cancer ever. I'm afraid you'll hurt them. Oh gosh, you need to protect them.
Listen, I'm on the other. Okay, so we got Cancer down.
Scorpio.
Wait, Cancer down here, super emotional. Scorpio down here. Oh, shut the hell up.
And I'm right in the middle. I believe.
That's me.
Okay. Since that wasn't clear because we were
being goofy.
Okay. Cancer energy is I feel. So this is going to be represented within the cup suit. The Scorpio energy, I desire. I desire to
gimme.
many things. And the Pisces energy around this is I believe. That is where the faith, the intuition, the universe has our back. Those are those feelings that comes from that aligns with the Pisces. So these signs are associated with the qualities that connect us to other people and the outside world. So it is our feelings about our situations, how we grow up, our families, our connections through relationships. This is all the water element. It's how we perceive, attract, feel, and respond to the sense of being different. I don't know if it's true that like water signs understand that they're more different than other people on a bigger scale, but it seems like because they're full of emotion that they recognize it and then they cry on one end, get mad and burn shit to the ground, or just have faith and be like, I don't belong here. I don't know. It could be like that, but find your own words to put with that as far as the zodiac energies coming in and assisting with the associations of the wand, of the cups suit. Switching gears, we're going to talk about the symbology within the cards like we just did with the wands. So in all the cards, we're going to see the cups, right? Like everything is there, but we want to see what are the cups doing? Just like with wands, what do they tell us about the interaction? We're not looking at the people. We're just noticing what is going on with the cups. That's going to tell us the level of where the emotion lies. Are we more at that base? Are we going towards the elevated? We could be somewhere in the middle, but that's what we're about to discuss. And I'm going to send it over to Kat for
All right.
the ace.
So as you've already said, cups represents emotion and relationships with friends, family, lovers, and even ourselves.
Definitely with ourselves.
So we're going to take a look at how the cup represent emotions. Starting with the Ace of Cups, which is up on our screen right now, we have water overflowing into a pond. This looks like elevated emotion.
Am I there? Yes.
Yes, you are.
So we talked about the overflow. It just means there's like lots springing there, right? If there's lots and lots of water, it doesn't mean that it's always positive at that higher end, but it being there allows you to gather the resource. Like there's a lot of it. Over to the Two of Cups. With the Two of Cups, if you look at how the people are bringing the cups together, almost like they're cheersing or they're going to exchange them. So you do have to kind of notice the hands of the people, but the cups are being shared. So this is that unity. Here's, instead of having duality where we're looking at opposites, this is unity. It's coming together. That describes the relationship. The cups are cheersing. And so this would definitely be on the elevated side of the emotions, because unity is how we all get better together.
And the next in the Three of Cups,
Here,
this is my favorite card. Here, the cups are cheersing, and this has to be elevated emotion because we are celebrating something good, whatever that is.
with the Four of Cups, love this little powder. This reminds me of a toddler. He's ignoring the cups. The cups are being ignored. There's a gift there, but not being recognized. So we think about this as like, this is more towards the base. Well, it's pizza, but it's not the one I want, whatever that looks like for you. It's snacks, but it's not the one I want. Bringing up Kat's snack habit.
For sure. Yeah.
Over to the Five of Cups.
And in the Five of Cups, we have spilled cups. So this looks like base emotion, disappointment and loss, and really our primal instincts about those types of situations where we're on the losing end of something, but sometimes.
Right. The focus is there's cups spilled. There's still two other cups that aren't, but the focus is on the spilled cups.
Yeah, we're all like bummed out over the two spilled, not recognizing that we have some other cups there.
Again, I've got pizza, but it's not a thin crust. Like,
yeah.
why don't they just have my pizza?
Listen, why did they put onions on it? I really hate onions on my pizza. And besides that, pineapple never belongs on pizza.
We're going to have a talk later.
Say some people, not me though. I actually like pineapple on pizza.
Oh, okay. You really scared me for a second. Like, how are we related? Okay.
Listen, I fed you pineapple on pizza when you were like 18 months old. Probably.
See, that's why pineapple is life.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
We're on
Number
to 6. The Six of Cups. And if we look at how these cups are being used, they're being presented with gifts in them. So this would be a card that definitely showed the water element on that higher emotion of like goodness and goodwill and, the humanitarian efforts. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
Unless it's herpes, then it's
And
not.
in the Seven of Cups, we have many choices, and some of them are unclear. So this is like what, confusion. So this is more of a base emotion where we're like, oh my God, I just don't know what to do. I have so many choices in life. Like this is our
clear choices too. So it's kind of
like what is that thing in the middle? Like what is that? It looks like
it's the unclear side. So this is where we're like, we don't trust. We're like, too much. Back away slowly. Over to the Eight of Cups. This is cups that are being left behind. Somebody's turning their back on all the emotions, whatever's in them, whatever's going on. It's like, nope, don't want it, heading off. So this would also be more towards that base emotion, the lower side of it. Moving on to the Nine.
And in the Nine, oh my gosh, all of our cups are elevated. They're higher than us.
They're just like trophies.
Yes, they're like, this is like some kind of a banquet. This is definitely higher, a higher elevated emotion.
You're like, he looks proud of them, right?
Yes.
So there's this.
It's like, definitely
I'm
high.
Confident.
Yes.
Over to the Ten of Cups, where we see the cups in a rainbow. And I don't know how anybody could ever see this as a bad card or like what the bad would be, but there could be fear of happiness too. People do back away from situations that are happy, but that's not what this is about. Sorry, I'm starting to read for us and we're not doing tarot. Depending on the cards next to it, just always remember that. But this card displays the higher level emotions of a happy ending. Very, very happy ending.
Okay, so in the Page of Cups, we see the page looking, his cup has a fish in it. Oh my gosh, she's talking to a fish in his cup. This looks like the emotion of imagination.
Yes. So
So
that creativity with water is also part of it.
yeah, so that is positive or on the upper end of the spectrum.
I would say creativity is always expressed in that. You know, if you have the courage to stop it, you're going to get banned from the meeting. I'm going to kick you out.
Sorry.
If you have the courage to continue on with creativity, then that is the higher level emotion because you're not worried about people judging you. You're not worried about not being accepted or not being loved. You're just like, I'm going with it. This is what I want to do. I want to create it. So that's where I think of the imagination and creativity. Over to, I'm gonna poke you.
Sorry.
Over to the Page of Cups.
No, the Knight.
Oh, sorry, the Knight of Cups. It's so tiny on my screen.
I know. I'm keeping you track, even though I'm
Even
distracted.
yeah, no, I'm
Kind of distracted.
If you look at the way that he's presenting the cup, I think of this as him like being very proud and showing it almost in like an honor. It's like, here I am, and here's all the presents that I have. So I would lean towards this being a cup that has the emotion of confidence or knowing themselves really well to be able to present it in such a way that they're not fearful. So it shows that they're not afraid to go forward with whatever that emotion is to follow it through. We're moving on to
And the Queen,
the
we
Queen.
see.
Love this card.
Okay, we see a very intricate cup. This is the
Complex.
most, yeah, this cup is like really ornate and unusual. So we have this very complex, ornate, unusual cup being admired by our Queen. This looks like the emotion of uniqueness.
Right. Appreciating uniqueness.
Yeah.
So we've gone from imagination with the talking fish to the emotion of confidence, presenting the cup so plainly and out there, to admiring the uniqueness. So having that appreciation for being unique. To lastly, we have the King of Cups. And this is, if you look at the card, notice that his little scepter is on the arm of a chair on the other side, but the cup itself is like kind of hanging in the air. There's nothing underneath of it. And so that's the only reason why I want to draw attention to the card itself. But looking at the card just being hung out in the air. So when we think about that, it's like lack of connection. So this is a king card. You would think that the higher up you get, the more elevated you go. That's not always true. With this card, there is a lack of connectedness to the things. So he is not holding his cup where it's stable. It's more hanging in the air to dry, just kind of like flimsy and out there. So I think of that as the lack of connectedness. The cup is being treated like it's not really that significant. It's not being given a base.
And the cup represents our emotion. So the emotion, he's not connected with his
lack
emotion.
of connection.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
didn't
lack
say it
of-
that way, did I?
Yeah.
It's lack of connection.
Lack of connection. Yeah.
Bad.
Okay.
We're gonna go right into
homework because it is 7:55 and we've kept you guys here for almost an hour. So we're
Yes.
going to very quickly give you your homework.
All right. This takes explaining, and I want to kind of say it slower so that you guys can get it down, because if you do this, you will have a greater understanding of the cards because you will personally connect with each one of them. And this is just for the wands and the cups. Obviously, you can do it for all the suits, and maybe we'll add it into next week's lesson as well. But here's what I want you to do. Using your cards and the suits, I want you to look at each card and write down what's happening in very simple, plain language, like we did. I have an example that says, if we're looking way back to, did I do the wands from the cloud? Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, oops. All right. I'm going to try to go way back. Oh, how do I do that? No, I got it. Okay. If we go to this card, if we're looking at the wands, a very simple statement to describe this card would say, the wand appears from a cloud, right? You write that down. Just simple descriptions. But what I want you to do is use one of the key elements. You can use the zodiac signs, their statements, or you can use things that describe the element of fire, because this is the wand. And I want you to replace the word wand with one of those other words. So the original statement that you would have written down is the wand appears from a cloud. And then right next to it, you would end up writing down the inspiration appears from a cloud, or if it's passion, the passion appears from a cloud. So instead of thinking about the card as its description in any of the books that you're reading, give it your own identifier by saying what you think is happening with that element. And you'll really remember, like, oh yeah, this cup is doing this wand is doing this. And when you replace those words, because wand and cup, what does that mean for us? You have to go 3 things back. Wand is fire is motivation and passion. Just switch right to that. Imagine it as the fire being there, and it's the passion. That is the homework for part 1. That's one option. It's a lot, I know, because we went through how many cards tonight? Like 28, I think.
Yeah.
The next one would be, in association with the zodiac energies, go through the cards one by one and ask yourself which little tiny thing, I am, I will, I aim, that's for fire. Which one of those fits with the cards? If you just had to, if you're looking at the picture, you're like, this looks like they're aiming. This looks like they're willing something to happen. This looks like they're saying, I am this, and you just associate those small words with the cards. That's also another way to add in your perceptions of what is happening within the card, so that as you learn them further and read them together with other cards, you're like, oh yeah, well, this one is all about, the will of the person wanting to do something. We get a cup card and you've got, that desire of the Scorpio. And it's just 2 words. I am, I will, I aim for Sagittarius.
So these, but those statements are associated with fire, aren't they?
Well, you've got
Then you've got the
fire and then water.
and
Yeah.
then water.
And we'll make sure that we have them for earth and air as well, that associate with the zodiac, so that you can do the same thing. But if we're starting at the smallest place to start memorizing or associating the cards with something, this is a really great place to start, so that it's not complicated to understand. You're not adding in 5 or 6 different. The card is, I can't even read some of the stuff they write in there. I'm like, what the fuck?
There'll be like 12 descriptive words, and you're like, which one am I supposed to remember? Because
Which
I'm
one
not
is
going to
good?
remember all 12 of them.
Yes.
So
this is a way to start making your own associations and definitions for the cards that really can build on something that you might already know. Go through the suit that feels like it's your sign. These
we're not doing this too, are we?
no,
Is that
I'm
kind
not.
of a lot?
No.
Okay.
Those are the 2 homeworks to help build your association with the elements within the wands and the cups cards.
Thanks for joining us for week 5 of our journey through the tarot.
This week we began our journey through the minor arcana by examining the motif, symbolism, and overall energy of the suits of wands and cups.
These 2 suits represent the elements of fire and water, which without humanity could not survive.
And next week we'll delve into the energies of the suits of swords and pentacles.
Representing air and earth, these suits relate to our thoughts and how we experience the material world.
As we've mentioned before, learning tarot takes study and practice. So be sure to do your homework, which you'll find at the end of this video.